What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react to a super quick history of Norway. So today I want to take a look at this video that's going to teach me about the entire history of Norway in only 4 minutes, which would actually be great because here in the United States, we are taught nothing about Norway in school. So I really don't know much about Norwegian history. So let's take a look.
Hello everyone and welcome to...
My God. Okay. Okay. This is interesting. Is this what this video is gonna be like? Because all right, it's got my attention.
This is Europe and here's Norway. Now let's have a
Right.
look, shall we?
Honestly, it's actually good that they started with this.
This is...
Because I have to say, to be completely honest, a lot of Americans don't even know where Norway is on a map. Like, truly, us Americans are terrible at geography. It's not just Norway. Like, most Americans can't even label an entire map of Europe. There's definitely European countries that even I don't know. I couldn't label this entire map. So it's actually good that they start this. Like, Americans we should all watch this to know about Norway, because this starts with the basics.
Europe and here's Norway. Now let's
Okay.
have a look, shall we? As the stiff, bitter grip of the last ice age began to slacken, human beings stepped onto the Norwegian coast and there eked out a frost-bitten living as hunter-gatherers. New settlers arrived
Right.
centuries later and introduced farming, and the area progressed into a Bronze Age and then an Iron Age that in turn birthed a number of small kingdoms.
Oh my God, wow. This is the entire history of Norway. We're going way back to the first people on Norway and to start farming and making like axes and metal and stuff. Okay. And then eventually you got more people like settling in Norway, and then you have kingdoms of Norway.
Kingdoms, which we don't know a whole lot about apart from the semi-mythical records of the Icelandic sagas. And during all this time, the people grew more and more acquainted with the sea, a relationship that characterized the next and most famous portion of Norway's history, the Viking Age.
Okay. This is what a lot of Americans think when we think of Norway. A lot of Americans, we don't know much about Norway, but we imagine, okay, Norway, Scandinavia, Vikings, because that's what we see on TV and movies. Like, whenever Norway is mentioned, it's like, oh, Vikings. So, I mean, obviously there's a lot more to Norway than Vikings, but it obviously is also a big part of Norway's history, right?
For some reason, in the 8th century, no one's exactly certain why, the inhabitants of the Norselands took to the seas and began attacking, plundering, and enslaving all over the place. Not only were these Vikings feared fighters, but they were also skilled navigators. The Norwegian Eric the Red sailed to Greenland in the late 900s, and
That's incredible, actually, Sailing around, killing people, taking over places, not great, but you gotta admire, like, Norwegians' spirit for adventure and, like, hundreds of years ago, going out on boats into the ocean. Nobody knows what's gonna happen. No technology, hardly. And just, yeah, it's a bunch of Vikings trying to, like, conquer land, I guess. But it's really impressive that you guys did that.
and established settlements, and his son journeyed further to what's now Canada. These were the sort of ships they were building.
Wow.
This one here is an excellently preserved specimen, unearthed in 1904. The quality of craftsmanship is strikingly obvious.
That's amazing. That's true. The craftsmanship, look at the carvings, the quality. This is amazing. Like, that people could do stuff like this, like, and it's oddly beautiful in a way.
Tradition holds that in the 9th century, Harold Fairhair became the first king of a united Norway. His son had the charmingly pleasant name of Eric Bloodaxe.
What? The first king of Norway was named Harold. That's the current king of Norway, right? Also, like Harold? So Harold is like, that's not a common name in the United States, but it sounds like that's like a common name in Norway, I guess. And his son was... This is why Norway is awesome. This is why you guys are awesome. Names like Eric Bloodaxe. Yes! Yeah.
Over time, Christianity began to permeate the region and spread at a quicker pace after the reign of Olaf II, who was later canonized as a saint and had this Gothic cathedral built over his burial site. After a tumultuous civil war, the Kingdom of Norway...
Man, this is really going very quickly. Christianity in Norway. Civil war. There's a Norwegian civil war? Like, even America, we've had a civil war. That's like something we learn about in history, American history. I didn't know Norway had a civil war. I don't think we're going to get into too much detail here, though.
Achieved its pinnacle in the 1200s under Håkon IV. The country was decimated by the Black Death in the mid-1300s, and under Margaret I in 1397, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden joined together as the Kalmar Union.
Okay, I've heard of the Kalmar Union. I did not know what it was. This is Norway, Denmark, Sweden, all together. Was it considered one country, one nation? Or was it three separate nations in a union, you know, like the UK or something? I don't know, but... All right, 1300s, Kalmar Union, okay.
In response to the German economic powerhouse known as the Hanseatic League of Merchants, who already had a firm footing in Norway, dominating trade in the city of Bergen. The union lasted till 1523, when Sweden broke away, and thus it became known as Denmark-Norway.
Oh. It was Denmark, Norway, Sweden, all together. Then Sweden left. Now it's just Denmark, Norway. Which is interesting because Denmark and Norway, you guys are like separated by water. You're not even like really connected, right? But you guys were considered one. Okay, Denmark, Norway.
Not a very imaginative name, but whatever. Meanwhile, amidst the Reformation, Protestant Christianity succeeded in replacing the Catholic Church in the territory, after being championed by Christian III. Under Christian IV, Denmark-Norway warred with Sweden over geoeconomics, and then entered the 30 Years' War over geopolitics. But Christian IV was unsuccessful.
Wow. So Norway spent a lot of time at war or in a union with the surrounding countries. Denmark and Sweden and Norway were either fighting or, like, combining into one.
Successful in his ambitions after losing this battle against the Holy Roman Empire, and so he went back to bickering with Sweden, concerned at that country's increasing power. And what do you think happened?
I like how this... I like the language this video uses. Very funny. Very... Back to bickering with Sweden. Bickering? You mean like literally war and death? Okay.
Do you think happened next? I'll give you a clue. It starts with W. That's right. Water skiing. Fun for everyone. No, of course not. Fun for no one except maybe Sweden.
Not water skiing? Ah, man. It was war with Sweden? Torstenson War. Okay.
Who won the war and gained more land. So
Wait. What?
No, of course not. Fun for no one except maybe Sweden, who won the war and gained more land. So...
Oh, Sweden won a war against Norway, Denmark? Sweden won that war and gained more land. Okay, but they're still... Okay.
How horrible was this loss for Denmark? Yes, Norway was pretty much just a colony of Denmark at this point. That more non-water skiing attempts at getting the ground back were made, but none of them succeeded. Anyway, in the 19th century, no sooner was Norway freed from Danish rule than it was taken over by Sweden. Entered into a personal union with Sweden.
Oh my god, this is really difficult to keep track of. No wonder they didn't try to teach us this in school. There's no way us American kids would have remembered all this. We definitely focused on American history in school. Norwegian history is very interesting. So you guys were in a union with Sweden and Denmark, then Sweden left, then Denmark-Norway went to war with Sweden twice, and then Sweden took over Norway?
From Danish rule, then it was taken over by
Norway was finally independent of Denmark, and then immediately taken by Sweden.
Entered into a personal union with...
No, in a union. So did Sweden take over? Or did Norway agree to join Sweden? And why would you do that?
Sweden. Though their aspirations for independence were thwarted for the present, the Norwegian people did not lose hope, and nationalism blossomed through the rosy lenses of the Romantic movement as the...
So, Norway was finally independent of Denmark, and then immediately part of Sweden. It sounds like Norwegians were not happy being part of Sweden, and Norway finally wanted to be independent.
The population surged and the economy thrived. The merchant fleet expanded and industrialization thrust the nation into modernity. In 1905, Norway, at long last, separated from Sweden and became a sovereign country.
1905. Wow. Not that long ago. Wow. Norway has been around a very long time, but independent Norway, as we know it today, has only been around 120 years. Not that long, actually. That's incredible.
They even got a new king, complete with a splendid mustache. Norwegian explorers became the first to reach the South Pole in 1911. And while Norway remained neutral in World War I, the Second World War saw the Germans invade in April 1940.
This I know about. The Nazi occupation of Norway, World War II. Horrible.
And the Norwegians were like, no way! And the Germans were like, yes way! And took control. After the war, Norway made rapid economic progress. And though it was a founding member of NATO, it chose not to join the EU.
Right. Norway is not part of the EU. Now we're finally getting to modern history, which I'm a little more familiar with modern Norwegian history.
Norway today is one of the richest and freest countries in the world and sits at the very top of the Human Development Index with a very high quality of life, a very low crime rate, and a socio-economic setup that is the envy of the world. And just to show off some more, it's also really beautiful. And we can't forget about Norway's accomplishments.
It's pretty amazing. Norway is a very, very successful, prosperous country now. It's pretty amazing to see how you got here. I didn't know, Norway is so successful now. It's amazing, what you have to go through to get to where you are. Norwegian history is a crazy story, actually. And this is kind of this didn't even have that many details.
Greatness it has produced in the realms of art and music, in science, in literature, and in sport. Norway has won more gold medals in the Winter Olympics than any other country. Not bad for a nation that promotes penguins to high ranks in the military. So that's it for Norway, and that's all from me for now. Bye-bye!
Wow! That was incredible. For being so silly, it was actually really informative. I hope everything was accurate here. I'm kind of counting on that because I understand Norwegian history a bit now. I can say that very in a general sense, and this was a funny, quick way to do it. So I think more Americans should learn about Norway with this video. It only takes 4 minutes to watch. It's a lot of fun, and Norway has an amazing history. So I quite enjoyed this. Anyway. If you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on this super quick history of Norway. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and learning about Norwegian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.